Meet Pothos.
And he would be?
The embodiment of longing.
I'm familiar with that state. So, he's a god?
And a figure in mythology. I'm Luca.
Oh, I mean, you made it pretty obvious you wanted to meet.
Perhaps. I know my names. Yours, Ian, means a gift of God.
Quite a claim. All this time I didn't even know my own origins. So am I? Godlike.
I worship you. As for Pothos, he's one of 3 brothers.
Oh, his siblings?
Oh, Eros, love, Himeros, desire.
They're all so close.
I don't know how close his brothers. You know those Greeks.
Throwing each other off Olympus.
Changing genders at will.
Envious.
Banishing each other to the underworld.
I meant close as in what they represent.
Oh, Pothos is the most visceral.
Desire isn't.
Longing lasts. And longing is a particularly homosexual thing.
Maybe that's why Pothos is depicted as the perfect teenage boy.
Let's say young man, just to be safe. You know me too.
Oh. Him too. At his age, a male is at his most ethereal.
And seductive. They're not so innocent then.
Innocent in experience, maybe, maybe not, but certainly not in their thoughts. The Greeks and the Romans, they knew that.
His age, they're filled with desire.
And we're not.
Well, they have that longing already that they have an easier time of obtaining it.
Do I have to be included in that pronouncement?
Well, the older we get, the fewer our choices.
Hardly a proverb.
Just editorializing.
Longing implies never obtaining.
There's something inspiring about longing.
Keeps you alive. Keeps you wanting.
Keeps you thinking of ways to get what you long for. I long for the statue to be whole again.
It never will be. A complete figure with just parts. Very modern when you think about it.
Like a poem by Sappho. Some of hers are a single word or two, the remnants of what she wrote.
Yeah, and yet we know she was the great poet.
One of my favorites is 2 words long. All that's visible on shredded papyrus.
Recite it.
Thoughts. Barefoot.
Something too complete leaves you with nothing. I wonder where his severed limbs went.
That's always the first to be lost.
It is the most vulnerable. For all of our talk about the intellect, that's our driving force.
On statuary, it breaks off easily. The real thing endures. Well, it's not so much that it has a mind of its own, it has a life force of its own. I have many lonely days where I go inert. I get as frozen as a statue.
Such true confession so fast.
The honor that I feel is comfortable telling you.
How quickly plot develops.
And character.
Coming here to the museum, it's a good remedy for loneliness.
Each time I come here, I find something new.
What sets it off? That emptiness.
Desire for someone or someone.
Even if you find that someone, you can still be alone. I think we kept spotting each other in the adjacent galleries all afternoon. I saw you looking at the Van Dyck gentry, and I was in search of the perfect Renaissance angel's halo.
Does it fit?
I've got a big head.
Oh, really?
You're sounding like a character out of Boys in the Band.
It's a default mode for us.
Any other moments of desire or longing in here today?
Besides you,
Thank you.
the beard on a Netherlandish painting. A young man who hasn't shaved in days.
Oh, you wouldn't think of a detail like that. Is it worth seeing?
The artist painted it like a shadow, so subtly you can't even tell on the canvas exactly where it starts.
Oh, that takes such skill. I'm a librarian. I order beauty in other people's accomplishments, but I create nothing.
Oh, order is a form of beauty. 500 years ago, somewhere in the Belgian lowlands, amid the whoosh of the windmills, a painter notices the beard on a young man and what it might reveal about his character.
And beauty. The museum is filled with beautiful men.
Why do you think we're talking? There are the handsome ones on the walls and the plinths, and the handsome ones looking at the walls and plinths.
Not at all aware of their own effect. Luca, that's European.
My father was Italian.
I have some of that in me too.
As for my name's meaning, light.
Suitable. People are drawn to you.
They're not blinded by the light. Some of these young men, they look at these statues not realizing they're just as fetching.
Maybe they do. Where else do you find that relief that you were mentioning?
Existential relief?
That. Well, you make it sound like a laxative.
Follow me. These strata, fragments of pottery that ancient people used to write everything from shopping lists to prayers, poems, laments. Not sure they're art, but they're artifacts that affect me.
I guess when no papyrus was around, shards of broken jugs worked. I saw you looking at some of these real lads in there. They get suspicious.
I'm not looking now.
You're allowed to look over my shoulder. No claims.
Yet. It's not that the young men get suspicious, it's the women with them.
Men can be so oblivious to their own looks.
Most of their allure comes from them not being available and them not knowing what they possess. Let me prove it. May I ask you a question?
About?
I saw you looking
At what?
at these works.
Oh, those, yes. And why wouldn't I?
Do you know what you're looking at?
I'm not following you.
I think he means... I think he means in an existential sense. The skill of these works.
Yes, I know what I'm seeing.
I'm Luca, and this is my new friend, Ian.
And you are?
Benedict.
Blessed.
Excuse me?
Oh, surely you know your name is from the Latin for blessed.
I think I might have heard that at some point.
Oh, well, you'll just have to go with me on that. But you are blessed.
Don't scare the lad off.
Are you a priest?
I'm a devotee of beauty, and you are blessed with great beauty.
Forgive him, us, if we're sounding way too forward.
I'm flattered. People call me Ben most of the time. They think it's short for Benjamin.
Oh, son of my right hand.
Excuse me?
Benjamin, Hebrew for son of my right hand.
I use my left hand.
So do I. So tell me, Ben, why are you here looking at these?
I'm visiting from LA. I'm an art student. An artist.
Of?
I make installation art. Very different from him. But even I know I have to understand a sculpture like this to do what I do.
So, tell us about one of your installation pieces.
I have something in the graduate student show now. It's called a drip paint.
Thin watercolors running down the canvas.
Only it's not a painting. It's a block of ice, squared out of it. I have it surrounded by microphones, recording the sounds of it melting.
A drip tick.
I had an earlier piece. It's called Noise of Dust. I had to get a special request for the cleaning crew not to vacuum at night.
Oh. So, tell me, what do you see here, actually?
Figures on plates.
And?
People in model look very much like people today. Idealized, perhaps?
I'm not flirting, but you are as beautiful as anything in this room. I'm just saying.
Thank you. But maybe it's more about my age.
No, that's only part of it.
But even if I am akin to some of these works, why do you say that?
Because I am obsessed with beauty. I covet it. I want to make love to it. Forgive me, I'm not saying you. But I am in awe of the power that someone beautiful has.
Fleeting as it is.
Well, I am also perplexed by the fact that most of us were beautiful once. Though we didn't know it at the time. I look at photos of myself when I was a young man your age, when I thought I couldn't compete with all the other boys around me. And suddenly now I see someone rather cute, lovely even.
Turning yourself on, huh?
Still handsome.
He's right.
Well, thank you to you both. While beauty is supposedly in the eye of the beholder, it's actually in the eye of the possessor. There are standards for beauty, and this meets them.
Forgive our bad manners. We forgot to introduce you to our other friend here. Meet Pothos, god of longing.
Handsome dude.
Your frame is not so different.
Something in the pecs, perhaps? I'm totally cool with everything. I hope you know that.
Why wouldn't we?
I'm just saying that you're both handsome guys. And I hope someday when I get to be your age, I look as good. Maybe that wasn't such a cool thing to say, but I'm just saying that, you know, if you're looking for some sort of arrangement here, something later, I'm not. I'm not gay, but I totally respect the whole gay culture.
We're totally cool with that.
So, why did you call me over?
To tell you what I think of you. That you are exactly why these sculptors made works like this.
I haven't got a stomach like his.
It's awfully close.
You know Greek god, Benedict. The Irish use that name a lot. Do the Irish have gods?
They can be godly. Beauty always troubles me. The physical, real-life version, that is.
Then why do you seek it out?
It's not always deliberate. I can't ignore physical beauties, such as yours and yours. I can try to look away, pretend it's not there, but why should I? What's odd is that, whatever my age, I still imagine connecting with that object of beauty, as if it's a possibility.
That's called optimism, hope.
Delusion. Beauty is like a drug. You feel euphoric when you find it, but a sampling of it and you start to crash. It's a dynamic that defines my life.
That's a rather exhausting hobby.
What about when you do get it? When you're able to possess it?
Then it's the best use of time I know. It's when time stops, or I don't notice it passing. But I wonder what happens when longing passes. What fills that void?
Maybe it won't pass. I have a friend who died recently, 104.
No way.
Up until the time he was 100, he kept asking me to send him a blow-up male sex doll.
And did you?
No, I didn't. My luck, I'd send it to him and he'd suffocate.
Maybe that's worse then. Not having that desire, that longing ever go away at a point in your life when this can't ever happen.
You won't know, I guess, until later.
You've got 10 years extra. You needn't panic yet.
Who says I am? Like my job, I catalog my feelings. Right now, I'm just,
Time to tell you something.
True confessions?
I'm not quite as innocent as you might think.
Oh,
I made myself available to
explain.
I wouldn't have guessed you'd be available to us.
Wrong. I have something to give you. It's proof.
Of what?
A sketch of you. Of both of you. I was drawing you back there.
Why us?
Because you're conveying something to each other that was compelling. Something was happening between you two. I could tell from a distance.
This is remarkable. You noticed us. What if I hadn't called you over?
What about that?
You'd have kept this,
I would have.
and we'd never known that it was done.
Guess not. Proof that we get noticed without knowing it. Maybe there's comfort in that. You can always imagine that you're recognized for existing. When you think you're alone, maybe it's not true.
You're like the lesson at the end of an Aesop fable.
Hardly that. Just someone who sees it and wants to capture it. Keep it.
But you're giving this away.
I already took a shot of it already. I do that with all my works. Even ones in progress. I should let you guys go. I have to meet my girlfriend later. What time are you leaving?
Soon-ish. Aren't we?
Oh. Yes.
Tell you what, maybe I'll wait outside by the entrance and say goodbye. I have samples of drawing in my backpack that I have to check, and I'd like for you to see them. I'll give you another one.
A self-portrait?
I have some of those. Studies of various parts. Anatomical.
Since we're being so frank with you, I think you're flirting with us.
You brought me to you.
And you're staying in the spotlight.
It's nice to be desired, I guess.
Even if you don't wish it to be acted upon.
Even at my age, I know it won't always be available. Desire from someone, a longing, since we're here with their BFF.
You're very insightful.
When you think about it, all of our lives run a plan. Every one of us. On show, on exhibit. Here I am. Do you see me? Or do you want to see me?
Am I worth looking at?
Do I look better from this angle? Or this one?
Aren't you too young to know this already?
Young people often produces the best art. You don't have that filter yet.
One of the best attributes about people your age is that you are conceited. You think that everything you write, sculpt, film is perfect. That whatever idea you have is so original and so worth expressing.
Now, I wish I were conceited still.
It's that lack of that that produces the great things, the spontaneous.
Well, as for the plinth I occupy, or anyone my age, it lowers as time goes on, to the point where I'm now at ground level, soon to go subterranean.
I'm on the same plane as you.
Oh, you're not. Beauty, youth, you're up there, out of reach.
Touch me. Touch me. See? I'm in reach.
To some. This pothos was found in water, but not in the mesophotic zone, which is somewhere between 200 and 500 feet below the surface.
The mesophotic. What happens there?
At the brightest time of day, noon, sunlight illuminates the zone in a twilight cast, just enough to see what's around you. It's never brighter than that. Mesophotic, the middle light. Few scientists are interested in that zone.
You would think a lot would happen there.
What lies just below the surface or the mysteries of the great deep are far more compelling to them. The mesophotic, it's like middle age. Who cares about that? Young, you're pretty. Old, you're wise.
But middle age, you're accomplishing.
But it's dimming. And then there's the opposite of the mesophotic. Up there, the
Heliopause.
librarian.
Helios, the Greek god of the sun. Part up there between the atmosphere we know, blue and clear, and outer space, dark and unbreathable, definable, but not.
I think you're no longer seen. Dimming amid the growing twilight, or gasping for air up high. Maybe not the way you wish or that you once were, but you're noticed. And as looks fade, I'm not suggesting yours has. You make up for it with other things. Wisdom.
Experience.
Confidence, which can be attractive to someone my age. Let me tell you that.
Most of us do get our time on the plinth, positioned in direct sunlight for full effect. And then we're moved to another gallery.
But you're still on display. I visit you there.
Are you some kind of haloed angel out of a cloud? I must say, you have made him and me feel rather reassured.
Wasn't my intention, but I'm glad I have.
I picked you out of thick air. This is, after all, a suddenly charged atmosphere.
Maybe I should set my microphones in here. The sounds of longing. More hums than the sounds of dust.
The aching desire for someone unattainable. That would be our pothos.
I bet young guys come onto you a lot.
The number of times I'm asked, are you into role playing? Well, gee, son, I wonder what part you want me to play. Please.
I bet you give a Tony Award-winning performances.
This statue is so broken up. How many plays do we see, or novels do we read, where we forget the ending, but love the word? You know what great art does.
What?
Great art not only reminds you that you're alive, it reminds you how happy you are to be alive.
Art is worthless unless it plants a measure of splendor in people's heart. Wait, before you remind me for that, it's not my line.
Well, who wrote that? One of the gods in this room?
A poet named Taha Ali. I say that line to myself all the time.
Kind of odd, don't you think? That we're discussing everyone else's unavailability when here we are.
Well, I need to make myself unavailable now. For now, that is, gentlemen. Maybe I'll meet you both later, outside by the columns. I'll be leaning against one. I don't like him.
Did we just make fools of ourselves?
If so, it was only me. We did get to a place that I wouldn't have thought, though.
I guess that means that we do have a connection.
You're handsome.
Is it that simple?
The way you carry yourself, the way I saw you looking at these torsos, threading your way among the statues and the plinths, you were on display to me.
A kinetic sculpture.
My kind of performance art. When you're around this much beauty, you notice other beauty.
I'm middle-aged. I'm in the mesophotic zone.
But in the shallowest part, which I find deeper, more exciting.
Benedict's probably waiting. We can't let him down.
I have a feeling he's always up. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Let's leave on the park side so we don't have to see it. Oh, he'll hardly be crushed.
No temptation.
He showed admiration. I'd like to leave with that. You're my focus.
What do we do with that? It is of the both of us.
Maybe we could share.
A little presumptuous.
I'm just saying, I have a feeling.
Is that kid cute? So, any interest in seeing more art?
Always. Let's go pose for each other.
Then I guess we'll say goodbye to a longing.
For now. With him, it's never really forever.